Hello, my name's Nick Stevens. I'm an educator currently working 3 days a week in a childcare centre, and today was my day off, and I was sitting at a cafe drinking a coffee when I watched a mother walk in with her 4 to 5 year old son. And I looked up, and this mother asked her son where he would like to sit, and while she asked that, she started walking towards the cushioned seating of the cafe where I was sitting. Now, this child responded by squeezing between the mum and the table and sitting himself next to me, and then pointing across to the other side of the table and saying, I want you to sit there to the slightly less comfortable chaired seating. Now, the mother responded by walking back around the table, sitting herself down on the chair and saying, you want me to sit here? And the child said yes. And she sat down. And as I was sitting there drinking my coffee, something didn't sit right with that interaction. And it didn't sit right because it had been something that I'd been seeing a lot in my own practice as well as with children. And it comes around this idea of developing children's autonomy. And I've defined autonomy here. So autonomy is the ability to act on one's own free will. And certainly part of our practice as early child educators is developing children's own free will and giving them the opportunity to consider their wants and needs, and then allowing them to act upon those, to give them control over their lives and improve their well-being. Now, there is a problem that can occur when we consider children's autonomy too much though, and that is we start disregarding our own free will, our own autonomy, our own agency, and that can cause a fracture in the relationship that has really negative implications on our work with children. So what exactly went wrong? I think what happens is that when empathizing with children and asking them what they want, children then often misinterpret that as having control over the situation, having complete and utter control over every little thing that is occurring in that context. And what that boy did is he then said, not only do I want to sit on the soft cushioned seating, but I also want you to sit opposite me and face me on that side. And what that can do for children, I think, is it can make them feel very anxious, because then they start looking at the world as completely open field in which they can start looking for other ways to control the environment, which simply is not how the world works. Children need to learn that their autonomy needs to be considered in relation to other people's autonomy and in relation to other people's own wants and needs. So I think how that interaction could have worked better is that the mother could have used that as an opportunity to tell the child what her wants and needs were, that she wanted to sit on the cushioned seating, that she would prefer to sit on the side closer to me. Perhaps she didn't want her son sitting next to a stranger. Now, whether she actually wanted any of those things is sort of irrelevant, because it's something that I've been seeing in my own practice, that often in my want to develop children's autonomy, I often disregard my own, and it can have really negative implications on my own well-being, and it has consequences that are negative to my overall practice. So I guess the question that it leaves me with is, how do we develop children's autonomy whilst considering our own? If you've got any thoughts on that, please share below. I think it's something that is a really difficult topic, and I'd love to hear people's thoughts on it. Thanks for listening.